In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in black and white emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White. I'm your host, Charles King, and tonight, this is a great final word Friday. I'd like to open this really quickly with a Black History reflection, as well as an opening monologue before we introduce you guys to our guests. Our reflection tonight will be on Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama II stands as one of the most transformative figures in modern American history, not simply because he became the first Black president of the United States, but because of what his rise revealed about possibility, perseverance, and unfinished work of democracy. Born to a Kenyan father and a white American mother, raised between Hawaii and Indonesia, Obama embodied a global identity long before he entered politics. His election in 2008 marked a generational shift, an affirmation that leadership could look different, sound different, and speak to the complexities of a multiracial nation. Obama's presidency carried the weight of some symbolism and the burden of expectation. He navigated economic collapse, global conflict, and domestic division with a calm, deliberate intellect that challenged stereotypes about Black leadership. His presence is his presence in the Oval Office forced America to confront its contradictions, the hope of progress, and the persistence of racism, the celebration of representation, and the backlash against it. As we reflect on Barack Obama today, we honor not only the man, but the movement, those who marched, organized, voted, and believed that the arc of history could bend towards justice. His legacy reminds us that progress is not linear, freedom is not guaranteed, and leadership requires both vision and courage. In a moment when the world is once again in turmoil, Obama's story calls us to remember that history is shaped by those who dare to imagine something better. So, as I get ready to open this with this monologue, I want to say this to you guys. Good evening again. Welcome to America in Black and White. And tonight we gather at a crossroads. One of those moments when the world shifts beneath our feet and the headlines are not just news, they are warnings, signals, and lessons. The United States and Israel have launched sweeping attacks on Iran, killing top leaders and igniting a war that is already reshaping global politics, global markets, and global stability. Iran has responded with missiles and strikes across the region, the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's oil flows, has been disrupted. And whether we like it or not, America is now fully entangled in a conflict that will touch every household, every community, and every pocketbook. Tonight is not about fear, it is about clarity. It is about understanding what this war means for America, Black, white, brown, working class, immigrant, rural, urban, all of us. It is about understanding the ideology driving some of these decisions. It is about understanding Zionism, geopolitics, and the narratives shaping public opinion. And it is about asking the question to many leaders that too many leaders avoid. Is this a strategy or is this a failure unfolding in real time? We are here to break it down, to bring truth to the surface, and to help our people prepare, not with panic, but with knowledge, because knowledge is power, and power is how communities survive storms. You picked a big one for Final Word Friday, and this is one of those conversations that either numb people or wake them up. Let's build it so it wakes them up. Let me introduce you to our guests. Well, let me bring our guests in so they can introduce themselves, and we will get the show started. Good evening, guys. Um, okay, you can start, Oz, if you would please introduce yourself.
Well, good evening, everybody. And there's a major echo feedback that I'm receiving. I don't know if you're getting it or not. I'm Oz Nev with Speak Up Communication, and certainly glad to be a part of this podcast this evening and jump right into some of these issues and topics that we're going to be talking about that impact and affect mainstream America, particularly Black America, and all of those who are listening in this audience this evening. I'm glad to be on the show.
Can you introduce yourself, Gary?
Yes, my name is Gary Choice. I'm the founder and CEO of Choice Management Services Group LLC, also the founder and CEO of Victory Through Faith Ministry for homeless veterans. I'm so glad to be on the show. I'm just wonderful to actually be a friend of you, Brother King.
Well, I definitely appreciate this. And as we get into this first topic, I want to frame this whole entire show for what it is. And then what I want to get into and what I want to start first with is, you guys' opinion as to what's actually taking place before we delve into more and more of how this is affecting us. So to frame this, um, I want to frame this as to what happened, why it matters, and just make sure that people just understand where we're going with this. So the United States and Israel, as we know, have launched those large-scale strikes on Iran, hitting Tehran and other cities, killing top Iranian leaders, and triggering Iranian missiles and drone attacks on Israel and U.S. bases across the Gulf. So, and with them doing through the Straits of Hormuz. So, what I want to start with first is that if you guys can give us your opinions as to how we got here, why we're here, and the effects that this is having on us for the wrong reasons.
Well, Dr. King, I think this is a super hot topic, and you couldn't pick a hotter topic to have at this time. Again, I wanted to point out, I'm not sure if you guys can hear it on your end. There is a terrible echo that's coming. I'm getting some really bad echo feedback in as we try to communicate. And also, Brother Gary, you may want to speak into your microphone because I can't. You sound like you're coming from a distance and you're not as clear. So people can hear you with a level of volume and a level of oomph that the podcast really deserves. So I wanted to make sure I said that to you. But getting into the heart of your subject, my background is in communication, and I believe that people ought to be able to communicate, and that the United States being the supreme leader across the world, we are known for great negotiations and great communications, not just great power and the ability to defend ourselves against threats and people across the globe, but having the ability to communicate effectively. We got into this war in the blink of an eye, a snap of a finger. We woke up and all of a sudden, the United States were engaged in a war. There didn't seem to be any type of congressional approval. There was no communication implemented to the American people. And I get it. I do understand the executive powers of the President of the United States. No one debates that. However, in a time that's really sensitive, when you're going to be impacting the lives of our American soldiers and sailors and airmen across the globe, where you're going to have an impact on the market in which we operate on a day-to-day basis. Already America's in a situation where we're living from paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay rent, trying to pay mortgage, just trying to eat. And affordability is the hottest topic that's in the market. That's right now the hottest conversation that we're all having. Again, the ball was dropped somewhere with communication. And thus far, just a few days into this conflict, the amount of money that is costing the United States is far beyond our imagination. And if we've got that kind of money to throw into a war that happened in the blink of an eye without any type of congressional approval, then certainly we can pay and spend money to help the American people get up off the ground, because right now we're on the ground.
Oh, I guess you passed the mic to me. Brother Nesbitt, can you hear me now?
I hear you loud and clear, but I can't
Excellent.
see you at all. I can't see you anymore. I can hear you loud and clear. You sound good, Brother George. You sound good, but I can't see you at all.
Dr. King, can you see me?
Your screen is blacker than me.
No, your screen is black.
Is it black?
It's blacker than me.
Am I there or?
No, you're not there. You're not there. You got some sound, but I can't see you at all.
Wow. I don't know what happened. I changed to my microphone, and I guess the microphone took me out.
Okay.
Well, we got. Go ahead, Bro King. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, you know, while you're trying to work on that, can you tell us what's your opinion as to what's happening here with this conflict?
Great. The state of America, where we are right now, and I hate you can't see me now, but the state of America is in turmoil. Brother Nesbitt, you hit the nail on the head. American people who look like us. Let me just keep that 100, because I can't speak about nobody else. I can always speak about me and the 65 years I've been living. We are in a turmoil of disparity that you asked the question, how did we get here? Well, number one, the American public, as we know, elected a criminal to run America. And every time he opens his mouth, and I hate to say it like that, but every time he opens his mouth, it is a lie. So when you have a criminal and a bona fide liar running the country, anything could happen. And we are the results of American people of that situation. Now, what can we do? We can do our due diligence at the polls during the midterm. That's where we are, and that's what we have to do. And I don't know nothing else other than we can elect people who will stand up, be counted, and do something to, I don't know if you can put a muzzle on him because he has no filter. It's a hot topic for me. I can't say anything else other than it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, if we break it down layer by layer by layer by layer, now we know that it's the lies that was told, that some people actually fell for whatever this was, whatever that voodoo dust was that swept across this nation that made these folks decide to vote for him. They knew what they were getting because he put it out there on the campaign trail. That's just the initial part. Now, what most of us can say without a doubt is that 90% of us 90% of the African Americans did not vote for Donald Trump because we knew better. We know that when you say who you are, we take you at your word. So we knew better, and we were telling others, do not vote for this man. Now, the division we know was already here. That is between other minority groups having this hatred towards Black Americans, that they decided they would go and they would vote for this man, along with the other, Caucasian folk that decided they wanted this anyway. Because what they were figuring is that the destruction of Black America was right now about to happen. Well, wrong thing, because that did not happen and that's not going to happen. Now, besides that, we also know that when this man started from day one, as he said, he was going to do deportations. Now these folk are being deported in the wrong way. If you're not here, I understand what immigration means. So if you came here illegally, then you should leave. But the way they're doing that is totally wrong. It's totally wrong, because you can't like just grab folk off the street, shoot and kill people and say, oh, that's okay. Now, as this administration has advanced at this point, we also know that he figured, because he didn't think that some of these countries that he thought he could just go and take over, he would just do that, i.e. Venezuela. They don't have a military, so they were just under siege. But to know that you can go and you can just kidnap someone's leader, that's against the Geneva Code. That's against the Geneva Code. You can't do that. Don't care what you feel, what you think you are, you cannot do that. And so now he goes under the rule, because he's not leading this. He got this from Israel. So they're the real culprits in this after what they did to Palestine and the Gaza Strip. So as they just rain bombs on those folk that couldn't do what they needed to do after they've already stole their land, they figured that they can take the whole region. Now you go and you start this war with Iran, and everybody around this world, including his allies, France, Germany, and the UK, said, no, we're not getting into that. But he did it anyway, because he figured he was a bully and he could get away with this. So now the whole world is on notice, because Iran has the technology that America would never have. And they're showing you this with a $5,000 drone that's destroying every part of the Middle East that they decide they want to attack, against America's $500 billion systems that are in place that's supposed to prevent this. Now, when you look at this is the bully getting bullied. And we got, now we know also that the draft is about to be enacted. Now, what I want to know is, where the hell are the MAGA folk at? Okay, because they need to go fight on the front lines, because when they do the draft, you know where they're going to. And see, that's what I have a problem with. And see, now that you're getting your butt handed to you, now you want to sit there and say, oh, these folk are terrorists, when you've been the terrorist for the last 50 years. Well, so how the hell are they going to make that work?
Dr. King, I always love and appreciate your energy. It reminds me of a guy named Oz Nesbitt. I appreciate your energy, and I appreciate the level that you come in swinging all the time. But I want to make an attempt right here, not to tone you down, but I want to bring a little clarity to a few things, because I think it's important that your listening audience understand that the three of us this evening, we're not focusing on the shoulda, woulda, and the coulda. Donald J. Trump is the president, whether we like it or not. He's the president. There's a great number of people, not a good number, a great number of people that allow that to happen and to take place. What we have to do now, as Brother Choice has so eloquently pointed out, as we prepare right now in these midterm elections, and for those states and communities who have not engaged in their midterm elections, in other words, for those communities in those states who midterm elections are up and coming, our goal tonight, a part of it, is to educate, to communicate, and to inform you how critical it is, how essential it is for you to go out and to participate in the upcoming midterm elections. Let me tell you why, and I'm glad you asked. To make sure that we have the right congressional representation, the right senators in office, people who can be on the front lines for the local everyday people in all of the communities across the state. That's why it's important that we give the power to Congress by making sure, and to the Senate, by making sure that we elect enough people who are going to represent our best interests. In fact, let me break it all the way down. After what Donald J. Trump, President Trump, showed us last year in 2025 alone, I feel like people ought to be camped out at the election poll, the election office, as if they're going to see their favorite concert, rock star, R&B, pop, rap artist at a concert. They ought to be camped out the damn night before. That's just how serious this situation is. Let me break it down some more. Watch this. I grew up in my beloved hometown of Augusta, Georgia. I'm a proud product of public housing. I came out of the projects. That qualifies me to say what I'm about to say right now. Every damn person that's on government assistance, every person that's getting WIC, getting SNAP, crackle, and pop, they ought to make sure they are at the polls, they are registered, and they've got their behinds at the polls ready to vote. Get your stuff together. If you live paycheck to paycheck, if you walk to work, if you catch the city bus, if you hitchhike for a ride, if you receive any level of government assistance, Social Security, SSI, if you live with your mama now, if you live with your cousin now, and you ain't got your own damn place, you need to make sure you vote. If you have children, adult children living with you still after they've come home from college, if they living with you, you need to make sure they are registered to vote so you can eventually get them out your house. They can afford to pay for an apartment. They can get a decent job with decent wages, and you can get them out your house. Everybody, we can sit here all night and have a conversation about shoulda, woulda, and coulda. That ain't gonna change a damn thing. Donald Trump is the president. What we've got to do is put our focus and put our energy on what we need to do going forward. The whole issue about him being able, him being authorized, and being capable to start this war, this man done already told us. He done shown us. In fact, let's break it down another notch. Everything President Trump promised that he was going to do the way he wanted to do, he's doing it. Now, this thing of dealing with eggs, gas prices, affordability, the cost of living, he don't give a damn about that. We clearly know that. So all of the folks who are in that small 2 to 1% who don't worry about living paycheck to paycheck, light bill, water bill, rent, mortgage, car insurance, daycare, haircut, Coca-Cola, and a hot dog, those people don't worry about that like we do. They straight. And those are the people he's taking care of. He is doing whatever the hell he wants to do. There's nobody in the United States Capitol, and there's nobody between the Capitol and the White House that will stop him and that can stop him. They are allowing him to wreak havoc. What do we have to do as American people? We got to get our butts out there and vote. And the biggest group that needs to get out there and vote, there's 1, 2, 3 black men on this screen right now. Those people I'm talking about, they blacker than all three of us put together. They need to get their black asses out there and go vote. And I meant it the way I said it. Get your black ass out there and go vote.
I totally agree. Brother Nesbitt, you are all in my head. Can y'all see me now?
Okay, he see you and clear you. You looking good. You looking good, black man. You sounding good, black man. Yes, sir. Go ahead, let it rip.
Okay.
Let it rip.
You have been in my head this whole broadcast. My favorite saying is "woulda, coulda, shoulda," and those who don't know what that means, you would have done something, you could have done something, or you should have done something. You don't need to speak those words anymore. You need to get out, like Brother Nesbitt said, and camp out. And the three of us that are on this program, we have the voice. And I see in the back, you are in the proud Rockdale County of Georgia. I'm in the big city of Tyler, Texas. And I know my brother is in Atlanta. And what we can do, we can show up, be seen, and educate people. Because I know that this show is about education. And I love your platform, my brother, Brother King. This platform, it tells people what needs to be told. Now, you went deep on the fact that we as a race of people, but there is another group that has always been there. They've always been in the shadows, and they have supported the African American agenda. And that is for all the people. And it's amazing. The MAGA agenda is not about us. And they said that. And I don't understand why nobody on the media and anybody else is talking about that MAGA agenda is not representing the majority. And it baffles me why the majority don't say you're not for Joe average person. You're for you. And we should be appalled. We should be totally upset that what's going on, it's being allowed. He is breaking all kinds of criminal acts. And the world, and it's crazy, the entire world is looking at America and said, I hate to say it like this, but you went there, Brother Nesbitt. What the hell is going on in America? And can they do anything with that lunatic? And I don't know no other easier way to call it that other than he's out of control.
Well, Brother Choice, you're absolutely right. He is out of control. He's been out of control. Hell, he was out of control when he ran for office. He was out of control the last time he was in office. And for none of us, it still baffles all of us to understand how he even was able to regain the Oval Office and the White House as a whole. But again, we've got to still focus on where do we go from here? What are we going to do now? I think his biggest supporter, his biggest supporter was Marjorie Taylor Greene, as you remember. Well, now Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking up for everybody from public housing to the suburbs to the trailer parks to down there on the red dirt country road. She's speaking up for everybody that lives paycheck to paycheck. She's speaking up for everybody who's gonna have Vienna sausages, sardines, treat, mayonnaise sandwiches, and sugar water. She's speaking up for everybody right now because she realizes this is not what she signed up for. And I have to give her credit. I never thought in my born days that I would be giving the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene any kind of credit. But let's give credit what credit is due. And she is due her credit because she is really calling him out. Now, what we need is for more MAGA supporters, more Republicans to call him out. And let's not just beat up the Republicans and the MAGA supporters. Let's talk about some of these bullshit Democrats.
I knew you were going there.
Let's talk about some of these bullshit Democrats too, who have been pimping, particularly the African American culture for a long time. They've been pimping our people for a long time. So I want to make sure that what I'm encouraging people to do is do your homework on the candidates. As we prepare, as we go through the remainder of this midterm election season in all of the states across the United States and in every community, I want you to hear me clearly. Do your research, do your homework on all of these candidates, whether they are on the local level or the state level or the national level. Don't just vote for people. Watch this, here it is. Don't just vote for people simply because they are black, simply because they are white, simply because they are Democrat, simply because they are Republican. Do your research, do your homework. It's like going to church every Sunday and you sitting there nodding your head saying amen, and you ain't read the damn Bible. You just going on with whatever he say, and some of y'all say amen before the preacher can finish saying what he said. So, and I heard a preacher one time said, I ain't said shit. And you done already said amen, and I ain't said shit. Do your homework. Black people, for all of those who are listening and watching this broadcast, I cannot say it any better than I'm saying it right now. Get your whole family, get everybody, go to the midterm. Black folks don't typically, they don't pay attention to midterm elections. We just don't. They mostly focus on the presidential election every 4 years. Well, this midterm is so essential and critical to the heartbeat and the pulse of America, and particularly African Americans, black folk. We need to make sure we make our way to the polls. Don't get caught up with all of these distractions, Brother King. He's going to do something crazy as hell tomorrow. He did something crazy today. He did something crazy the day before that. He's going to continue to do crazy stuff. What we've got to do is position ourselves and not get caught up in emotions. Stay with me. Not get caught up in emotions. The last group, and I'm going to toss the mic. The local clergy, the pastors, the ministers, the preachers, the evangelists, all of them folks that's got a white collar. I need you to speak truth to power and stop being in competition as to who is the biggest church in town, or who's the most popular preacher. Band together. There's strength in numbers, strength in unity. If we have a young, energetic pastor, whether you believe in all of this, that, and the other, if he's bold enough, if she's bold enough to get out on the front line and speak up for the American people, then that's what we need to do. We need to band behind that person and get with them. I'm old school. And I understand that the pastor has to take care of that 501c3. I know it. I know you got to take care of that 501c3. But I'm going to tell you what the old school folks did. You got a church bus out there in the parking lot parked next to the church. You got a church van, 2 or 3 vans. You need to get those souls to the polls. You need to get them souls to the polls. Because Miss Mamie, Miss Lucille, and Miss Rebecca and Mr. Charlie, they don't know how they're going to get to the polls because they can't count on their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren because they sorry and they won't come by and pick them up. But you, pastor, you got a church bus. You got a van loaded with gas. Go and get those souls to the polls and get these people voted so we can get the hell on with moving this country forward and do what we need to do. I'm going to stop right now. I'm getting the white mouth, and I'm too black to get the white mouth.
Let me just say this, because a lot of those things that you guys said is more than factual. It's impactful. But just as we just break this down, because again, there's so many layers, especially to all the things that you guys just mentioned. And so when you mention voting, voting is important, but we also have to also account for situations that have happened and is happening at this moment. And so I agree with you 500%. Hey, everybody need to go vote, regardless of the case. But when we look at what's actually happening, because he knows the inevitable. I'm talking about Donald Trump. I don't call him president because he don't deserve that. He's an occupier. But he is actually
What you
putting
call?
it
Wait
out
a
there
minute.
for people to
Wait,
see.
wait a minute. What you call him? What you call?
He's an occupier.
Oh, I like.
He was an occupier in 2016, and he's an occupier now. He's just holding the seat. That slot for 45, that's vacant. This slot right now is vacant. All those folk there are all about DEI because none of them are qualified.
He's just sitting on the stool.
So yeah, they're just sitting there. They're just sitting there in the world, just passing everybody by. So he's already set the tone when he came here to Georgia and they stole those ballots for 2020.
They did.
Okay, they're also doing it right now in Arizona. And so what they're doing is they're trying to set the tone to make sure that this idiot stays in the White House for whatever this reason is. Well, I'll tell you what the reason is, but they're trying to keep him there. And so while they're trying to keep him there, it is definitely up to the people to make sure that something happens the way it's supposed to. Because when you look at states that he's actually targeting, we know the target cities are Atlanta, Chicago, and Philadelphia. And so that's even here in Georgia, here in Metro Atlanta, where they purged roads. In all those three major metropolitan cities that I just mentioned, they're purging people off the voter roll. They're doing this because Donald Trump said to do it. And none of these folk that are standing up, that's governors, secretaries of states, they're not standing up and doing their jobs because they're all part of the puppet ring. Now, if people are going to do what they need to do, we need to do it in droves where people are actually protesting these governors, protesting these secretaries of state, because they are the ones that are being also in that pocket of all these other folk that are being paid to take away what we have as a democracy, or what it could be as a democracy, because this is not a democracy. And so if people are going to do what they need to do, then they need to just do it and stop sitting on their hands. Like I did in my show last night, this is the time for people in our communities, that is people that look like you and I, where we need to go out and we need to make sure that we're banding together and we're stronger than we've ever been, because we can't just rely on people going to the polls to vote. And a great example of that is, look what happened to Jasmine Crockett in Houston. Now, it's been already approved and it's stated that those polls were supposed to be open and those votes were supposed to be counted. But the Texas Supreme Court said no, they will not be counted. So now the two puppets that are there for Senate on both sides still represent one side. So that means that's a definitely disservice for the state of Texas. But that's also a disservice for the state of the world, because if these folks weren't actually part of Zionism, then this wouldn't be happening. And when I say Zionism, they're all being paid. They're all being paid. It's on record, and I'm trying to decide if I need to put these names out or not. But it's 93 of the 100 senators, as well as a whole quarter of the Congress that's being paid by one country.
And what stops you from putting the names out? They don't give. Wait a minute. Let me push you a little bit. Let me push you, Dr. King. What's stopping you from putting the names out? They don't give a damn about you. So what's stopping you? If you got the names, what's stopping you from putting? Why you process that? Why you process my question? And Brother Choice, get ready, because I can see you sitting on the edge of your seat. Let me just say this right here. Here in Metro Atlanta, you remember the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've had some issues with young people with what they call a takeover. that's been happening here in Metro Atlanta. Well,
Yep.
what I really like to see the young people do is take over the polls. I like to see them make their way down to the Georgia State Capitol before this legislative session ends. I like for them to put on their shirt, tie, their blazers, and suit up and look like somebody. And all those young people who was taking over the intersections, that was taking over Atlantic Station, a shopping center, who was taking over all of these districts out there in the community, they need to band together with some leadership and a true voice and take over and send a message to those who are in power. I'm not saying take over in any kind of violent way or any kind of aggressive way, but a show of force and a show of solidarity that we're not just going to sit on the sidelines and stay to ourselves. And while you're answering my question, let me just talk about this. The challenge we continue to have, let me say that again, that sounded good to myself. The challenge we continue to have in the Black and African American community is jealousy, envy, hate, and resentment within our own community. It's time we lay aside those crazy emotions that keeps us from progressing as a people. This clown has shown us more than enough that he don't give a flying flip about us. And in order for us to do what needs to be done, we have got to come together. Now, I just wanted to say that because I knew Brother Choice, I could just look at his face and tell he had something to say, but I'm going to toss it back to Dr. King. And while you wet your whistle, Dr. King, I want you to go ahead and tell me, does the cat have your tongue on why you won't release, or is it premature to release? Is it about timing? If it's not about timing, I got my pen in hand and I'm ready to record and write down those names. And by the way, this whole session is being recorded for quality assurance and training purposes.
Oh my God, that's some good stuff.
It is timing. It is timing. But as a matter of fact, when it is that case, I will definitely email that list to you guys, and so you can see it for yourself. Because
I don't want you to email. I want you to put it on blast. Put it out there. Put it out there. Just put it out there on blast. Because it ain't like you holding the Epstein files.
Oh, but see, that's like what I'm saying to you.
Files. So go ahead and put it out there.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is because those are the folk that are being held captive because they're part of all of this child thing, this child ring that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
So all these nasty folk that's up there sitting there in Washington, D.C., that's supposedly representing the folk are actually doing nasty things to children. And then these folk act like that it's okay, like it's okay to put this criminal back in the White House.
Well, he's back. He's there. And when 2028 gets here, I'm going to say it like the old folks, Brother Choice. Y'all mark my word. Mark my word. In 2028, this clown going to show his natural bone ass in 2028 because he don't want to leave the power and the authority of the Oval Office. He's going to push a button. You think that January 6th episode was a hot mess. He's going to show his natural bone, crickety, crackety white ass come 2028.
You brought up my backyard, and I stated I'm in Texas, and the Jasmine Crockett situation, it literally goes beyond what was put on the surface. Now, we all know Jasmine Crockett is a voice for the people, and we all know she is not afraid to put them in their place. And they knew that what they did in Houston, Texas, and you left out her home city of Dallas, Texas, what they did in both of those cities, that was by design. And she even told us in the state of Texas that she knew it was coming and they're supposed to be ready to appeal those situations. Now, the crazy thing, the Attorney General, Ken Paxton,
Mm-hmm.
is running for Senate. And he was the #1 person coming from the Attorney General's office that he just disgraced it, said, we shutting it off. I don't care what judges say. And the judges in Houston and Dallas said the polls will be open as long as people are in line. And those people were in line at 7 o'clock. But again, nobody should be surprised about what happened. But the results is our eyes are open. Those of the followers of this wonderful show, eyes should be open, and they should be telling somebody that we as individuals, as one of the things I love, each one reach one, each one can reach one, and each one can reach another one, and each one can reach another one. And you said it, Brother Nesbitt, there is power in numbers, and we have the numbers. And I gotta say it before I let it go. Brother King knew you talked about me as a pastor. You talked about me as a church leader of the city of Tyler for over almost 200,000 people, and one of the leaders for a long time of the African American churches. I've been singing that song about we need to be together. Well, guess what? If they didn't come together when he was elected and understood that God was in control, yeah, I said it. He was in control, and he needed everybody to understand, if you following me, you're good because you're doing it by faith. But if you following a man, he will lead you in destruction, and that is exactly what's happening. Those that are following him, they need to open their eyes and say, you know what? I don't need to do it. You called her out, and I'm glad you did. And I applaud you. Jasmine Taylor Greene, she found out that I do not want to die following an idiot. I
Yep.
said it again. She said it. And there are some others. They're waking up. But the rest of them, the bully on the playground will bully the rest of them until one person say, I'm not going to take it.
Well, Brother Charles, you're spot on. And I want to say that I've never seen so many scared black people in my life. I don't know where these people come from, where these new African Americans who are scared to death. I don't know what they forgot about the mama and them, the grandmama and them, and the uncle and them. Them people weren't scared. I'm not scared. I'm still a part of a generation that's not scared. Now, what we have to do is be composed enough and be intelligent enough and smart enough with all of the technology and all of the education that we as African Americans now have. We know how to collectively come together and organize ourselves, whether in the churches, the sororities, the fraternities, the Masonic lodges, whatever organizations that we are a part of. And whether you're a part of an organization or not, your neighborhood, your community, your subdivision, you know how to organize people. You need to come together. Let's compose ourselves. I'm not interested in another march. I ain't marching nowhere but to the damn poll. That's what we need to march. We need to march to the polls and make sure that we vote and we organize in an intelligent and collective manner, and let's get the job done. Sitting around, there's another group I want to talk about. I've called out the pastors. Now let me call out the barbershops, the barbers, and the beauticians, and the cosmetologists. And then the third group I want to call out, black folk, are all the nightclub owners. The pastors always hated when I would say this. When I was out on the campaign trail, I would run into people at the nightclubs, and they say, I know you, Mr. Oz. I saw you at my church. The same people, whether you like it or not, Pastor, a lot of the same folks that go to church, they at the nightclub as well. Well, those barbers, beauticians, and cosmetologists, those DJs, those nightclub owners, those people are still influential in our communities. Those are the areas that people need to be educated. The barbers and the beauticians, the hairstylists, the cosmetologists, they need to make sure that they are educated enough so that when they have patrons inside of their shop, sitting in their chair, watch this, under their influence, that they properly educate, encourage, and influence people to not only be registered, but get to the polls and vote. And then for all those parents who are being held hostage in their own homes, those parents who are being held hostage, yeah, y'all know who you are. You know, you can't do anything with them 16, 17, 18-year-old. You can't do anything with them 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old. You're being held hostage. Well, I'm saying cut yourself loose. Cut yourself loose. Get you and that unruly child, that disrespectful child, that lazy child, that unemployed child, you need to get him and or her to the poll and get them registered and make sure they vote. Stop talking about it at the church. Stop talking about it at the barbershop, at the nightclub. Stop talking about it in the grocery store aisle and do something about it. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to walk.
Well, first of all, all you all that are out there that's listening to the show at this time, I'm encouraging you guys to please interact. Where your questions and comments will be read aloud on the show. So please submit your questions and your comments. As we're just talking about this whole thing, and we understand what's at play, because I think now this is a dire time. We know that we need to come together as one. We know that what's happening right now because of the Hormuz Straits. We know that the stoppage of oil is backing up everything, where it's causing prices to rise. So now people need to understand how it is to survive and what survival means. So like some people start just thinking about like little crazy things of like they need to go buy some ice cream and some candy. That's not survival. People need to start getting more perishables. You need to make sure you have water. You need to make sure that you've got something that's going to be able to back up what you have in case there is no power and there is no gas. So you need to make sure that you've got something that you're readily able, that you can eat and drink. That means getting those canned goods, the real canned goods. Again, we ain't talking about no candy. That's out the door right now, because that plan is real. As we say in the Navy, we're about to ready to hit general quarters.
Yeah. You know, I'm there.
So
I'm there.
if you go in general quarters, you know what that means. That means that, they're coming.
Yeah.
And so right now, we don't know where or if whatever Iran has in store, because those sleeper cells have already opened, because they've already attacked people in particular states. And so we don't know what that is, where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but you have to be prepared. So again, this is where you really need to make sure that you know your neighbors. This is where you really need to make sure if you need some eggs and some sugar, you need to be able to go to your neighbors and say, can you help me out? I think that for what's at stake right now is that it's very possible in the next couple of weeks that gas could be as high as $15 a gallon. That's more than possible right now. So if that's the case, drive one car. Fill up one, drive one. If you need to get perishables and things to prepare, make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're going to get. You need to make out that list. When you make out that list, you need to make sure you got it. Make sure you got some hygiene products. Don't go and buy all the perfume, cologne, and deodorant in the world because it lasts. But you got to know how to do this. And so I'm making it my business, as I say, that for one, I'm willing to work with and connect with all of our people to make sure that everybody in all of our communities have got what they need. They're that whenever we can work together and we can build what we need to build, but you guys have to be willing to wanting to do that.
And you're so spot on, Dr. King. Everything that you said is spot on. Again, I want to speak to those holier than thou people, those people who are at church every single Sunday, all those people who are sitting on the third row, the third pew, and thou shalt not be moved. Let me just remind you that faith without works is dead.
Alone.
Faith without
What it
works
said.
is dead.
Alone.
And you got to get up off of your butt. You got to be prepared. And the fact that what's going on with this conflict with Iran, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when, because it's going to happen. They've clearly, I heard that an Iranian leader in the most calm and collected voice said, we were waiting on them. Yes, they're not playing. And as you referenced, Dr. King, those cells are already here. They're already here. Now, if Donald Trump want to put the ICE agents to a good task to see are they really a tactical force, let's see, can they handle what's about to hit the ground in some of these major cities, and that includes Atlanta, Georgia as well, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas. That includes all of these major cities and hubs throughout the country. These folks are very strategic. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't want to get anybody paranoid, but I'm just saying you need to be prepared. You need to be ready. If you ain't never had to knock on your neighbor's door and ask for a cup of sugar or 2 eggs or to use the iron on the ironing board, baby, you're going to need to do it real soon. And if you got that much pride, you need to make sure you got your own stuff. Because mama said, bless the child and have his own. You need to make sure you got what you need because we're headed into a danger zone. I pulled my bicycle out the storage room the other night, and I made sure that the chain was on it right, Brother Choice. I lubed it up. I put some WD-40 on it. I put some oil on it because if I have to cycle my behind down there to do what I need to do, I got my bicycle ready just in case the gas goes deplete. Now, some folks are watching and laughing, but I'm talking some real talk here. This thing is real and it's critical. And you can try to remove yourself and say, well, I'm just going to trust in the Lord. The Lord then gave you tools and resources so that you can be educated. In fact, he's giving you this platform tonight. I'm talking to you. You need to get ready and be prepared. So I'm saying to all the church folks, because I'm a man of God, God is the head of my life, no doubt about it. I'm never ashamed to talk about the fact that God is the head of my life. But God has also given me the spirit of common sense.
The amazing thing that my brother King, he brought it out and he touched me when he said they would say general quarters. But before, they would always say, this is a drill. And if we ever heard this is not a drill, we knew what serious business was because we were already trained. Guess what? This is not a drill. 26, we are in a war. We used to talk about it. We're in a spiritual war. We have been churched. Well, guess what? If you are on the battlefield for the Lord, he needs people that trust in him, but also he needs people of action. Brother I said it. Faith without works is dead alone. If you sitting back there waiting on the Lord, well, guess what? The bus has already passed you and you didn't get on because you wouldn't get up off of your butt and get on the bus. It's time to get on the bus to do what you can do because I know you know, Brother I said it. He said he's not ashamed. I'm a preacher. Let me say it. I'm a preacher. But he hit all the sides of me. I'm a mason. I'm a shriner. I'm all of that. But the number one thing is I trust God. And you know what God said? Be ye ever so ready.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be ready.
Yes.
What you saying? Ready for what? You have already been equipped because Brother King has told you, get your food together, get your water together.
Mm.
Your neighbor who you ain't talked to, been living there 20 years, you don't even know his name. If you know his name, the only thing you've ever done is wave at him. You need to get your neighbor and you need to tell your neighbor, number one, you know what? My name is XYZ, and we really hadn't talked. We need to talk. This is the time. I told you, God is telling the American people, you going to follow a man or you going to follow me. If you going to follow me, the number one thing is stop saying amen to something you don't know nothing about.
Brother Charles, I tell you, Pastor, brother Pastor, you hit the nail on the head. And I if you don't mind, I want you to keep praying for Brother Nesbitt because I need prayer. I believe in prayer. I welcome prayer. But I'm getting ready to say this thing in a way that a lot of the people that are watching tonight can really understand. And it ain't nothing spiritual about it. I just want to say, get your shit together.
That's real talk.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why me and Brother King are brothers from another mother, we keep it 100, and that's real talk. And you were talking about going to the club. No, Gary Choice, he's not one to go in the club. I used to be a club person, but I know who the members are. I know who the members go to the association. I know who the ones that go. And you know why they say, I like you, I love you, is because what I said earlier, you keep it 100. You ain't trying to turn nobody down. The only thing you're going to do is try to lift somebody up and give them light. Because he commanded me, let your light shine before men that they can see your good works. This platform right here is good works. It's there for you to get an understanding. And we, I don't want to be preachy, but we have to be in that mindset in all that you do, get an understanding. Brother Nesbitt, prayers is there.
Preach, Pastor. Preach.
You putting understanding out there. That's what we are here for on this platform, to
give
somebody some insight on if they ain't doing nothing, they need to do something.
Right.
Well, not tomorrow.
Right. And before I forget it, Pastor and Dr. King, let me just say this. I want to make sure here in Metro Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, let me be crystal clear. Here in the state of Georgia, the the voting date, election date for the midterms is May 19. Early voting starts April the 15th. Let me be clear. Early voting starts on April the 15th. The actual election day is on May 19th. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Early voting starts on April 15th. The actual election day is on May 19th. Now, it's too late to register for this upcoming midterm. You don't already pass the window of opportunity for registration, as you well know, Brother Choice.
Yes,
but for those who are registered and who typically, Dr. King, don't pay attention to the midterm election, we are begging with you this evening. We are pleading with you this evening to please pay attention to this upcoming midterm season and go vote. Early voting starts on April the 15th. The actual election day is on May the 19th. We need everybody. Again, if you are on government assistance, if you live in rural America, if you operate from paycheck to paycheck, if you get Social Security, SSI, if you living with your mom and them, all y'all need to go and vote. If you can't get a job, if you're a college graduate and you haven't been able to get a job, if you're unemployed or underemployed, you need to go and vote. We need to make sure that we give Congress and the U.S. Senate the wherewithal, the fortitude, and the backbone that it deserves to be able to deal with that clown sitting in the Oval Office. My heart, let me be clear, Dr. King, you alluded to this earlier. My heart goes out to all of the women and the young girls that were impacted and affected and sexually assaulted during this whole, on the Epstein Island, and all of that nasty nonsense that took place over there. My heart goes out to them and their families, their children, and their whole mental capacity. I pray for those people. It's a tragic situation and a sad day in America. However, the Epstein's file has become a major distraction, a hindrance, and a delay to what's really actually going on in America in terms of affordability, people having jobs, people being able to live and take care of themselves. I think we need to address and get to the bottom of the Epstein file once and for all. Stop bullshitting America. Stop playing games with America. They know what's in it. You said you was gonna make sure you was transparent and it was an open book. Damn it, be transparent and open the book. Meanwhile, let's make sure that we can address these high prices at the grocery store. Let's make sure we can make housing and affordability for the everyday American obtainable. And the American dream is alive and obtainable for everyone. Let's make sure that when young people invest in going to college and going to school and getting a higher education, they have a job to come to out here. Let's make sure that we have affordable prices on medication for the senior citizens and all of those people, not just senior citizens, but all of those people who are suffering with medical disorders and they count on medication. There's people right now, every morning, they are trying to decide whether they eat or whether they take medicine. And that should not be in the richest, wealthiest country in America. People, we got to come together. Now is the time. Stop talking about it. Let's come together and do what needs to be done. I need all the clergy, all the barbers and beauticians and hairstylists and cosmetologists, all the nightclub owners, all of those people who call themselves influencers to influence somebody all the way to the poll. I'm Oz Nesbitt with Speak Up Communication. I've been Black for 60 long years. I'm Black and proud. I know the taste of sugar water. I still buy Vienna sausages. I still have a few ramen noodles in my closet, up in my cabinet, just because and just in case. And we about to do what Dr. King just talked about, Brother Choice. We rolling right into the just in case.
Yes. Let me say this before we get too deep into this. For you in Georgia, please take a page from Texas and go vote early.
Yes.
I will say this. What they saw scared them because of the ones that voted, and it was still sad that only 34% of African Americans that could have voted only voted. But out of that 34%, 78, almost 79% of them voted early. Vote early. Because the ones that tried to vote said they were going to wait till the last minute. What did I say earlier? You're sitting on the bus. Stop. You're sitting there saying, I'm waiting, and the bus passed by because you wouldn't get up and be ready to get on the bus. Vote early. Please vote early.
I can't. Yes, sir. I agree. I totally agree. I agree with Brother Choice. Vote early, vote early, vote early. Because just like they showed their natural born behinds in the state of Texas, they suffered to do the same thing in the state of Georgia.
Oh, that's the playbook.
It's a
playbook.
It's a playbook. It's a playbook. So we can't wait. when the moment early voting start, pastors, the moment they open early voting, we need to get them souls to the polls. You need to vote early, and y'all know how y'all do. If it just so happened to be raining on election day, then you got another added excuse on why you shouldn't go. I don't look here. I don't give a flying flip if it was a Georgia blizzard, if it was a Buffalo, New York blizzard in Atlanta, Georgia. I would blizzard my black ass all the way to the polls and vote, even in the middle of a storm. Go vote.
Well, I will tell you, I'm a product of early voting. That's I always go early. I'm not waiting till the day of election, because I know that if I vote early, one, I know that that vote is already banked, but the more that's banked already, it makes it that much easier on election day to count the votes and move on.
That's right. Let me bring this one out. One of the games they played in the state of Texas, people who waited to the last day, they got to where they have voted for years and found out they couldn't vote there. They had to vote somewhere else across town, and they didn't even know. And they did that all over the state of Texas. That was another thing. That's another reason. Go vote early, get it out of the way, and you good.
Oh, wait a minute. You just pricked another. We appreciate. let me get this right. Let me clear my throat. We appreciate all of our poll workers.
Yes.
Those folks that work at the polls and the election polls. But let me just tell you, because I'm an old school church boy, I can't stand old mean, hateful usher standing at the door at the church, and I damn sure can't stand old mean, hateful poll worker standing at the poll. So listen, y'all don't be deterred or distracted by that hardcore poll worker. Now the poll worker, he or she, they got to do the job. Some of you be wishing that some of them would smile and say good morning and welcome you in. You ain't got time to be going in there on your feelings and on your emotions. If they don't speak to you, if they don't speak to your black ass, go on in there and vote anyway. If they don't smile at you, vote any damn way. Vote and pray. Vote and pray.
Vote and pray. I agree.
That's just like when you show up at church on Sunday and you meet that old hard spirit, negative, old mean spirited usher. Don't let them quench your spirit. Go on in there anyway. And when you get to your pew, pray for that usher. That's that usher from usher board number 2. You pray for him. Absolutely. So I'm saying to you, we don't have time, Pastor Choice, Dr. King, to get caught up in our emotions. We got to go and vote early. I so appreciate Brother Choice pointing that out. Go vote early, vote, and go vote early. Absolutely.
This is a first comment here of the night. This is from Notes from the Path. And he says, God be with you, Lord God, guide and protect. Help me in this time of trial. Hope you are well. I appreciate you for this comment, and we thank you so very much for listening.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. That's beautiful. We need all the prayer that we can get. Yes. Yes, indeed.
And so let me just ask you guys this, because from the economic perspective, with these high prices that are taking place right now, from an economical perspective, there's 90% of the people here in this country. Notice I said 90%. That are definitely feeling the effect. That's the whole entire country. We know that top 1% is not feeling it, okay? Because they can care less, because
I was gonna say they don't care.
But it's that 9% that sits there in the middle, where it hadn't quite affected them so much as of yet, that are still hanging on to what?
The storm is at your neighbor's house, and you sitting there looking at the storm, and you're saying, well, that's my neighbor. But you're supposed to love your neighbor. And you don't move until it moves over your house. But guess what? It was coming. You should have been ready when you saw it at your neighbor's house. You should have been saying, what can I do to help? But no, you're not going to even move until it hits you. And then you're going to be looking for somebody, including your neighbor. Can you come help me? I'm sorry. I hate Negroes acting like niggas. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I say that from the pulpit. I say it on this platform. But you know what? When he said love your neighbor as yourself, you don't even like yourself. So really, I don't think we're talking to you if you don't like yourself, because you don't know who you are. But if you know who you are, you know whose you are, get up and do something.
And I thank you, Pastor Choice. I want to reiterate, Dr. King, what I said earlier, as I was encouraging folks to make sure that they do their homework and their research on all of these candidates, that they not simply just vote for people because they are black, white,
True,
Republican, or Democrat. I want to make sure, I want to continue to encourage folks to vet the candidates, do your research, check them out, ask the tough questions. There are so many leaders out there, and that include black leaders or black politicians or black candidates who are, and Brother Choice, you know what I mean? They're pimping our people. They are.
I was gonna say, you said it earlier. That's exactly what they're doing. And I hate to call my brother out, but we got pimps in the pulpit.
Well, I don't hate to call them out. I don't hate to call them out. We got pimps in the pulpit. We got pimps in government offices. We got pimps all over. We have pimps all over the community.
All over. And been doing it. And they keep doing it because nobody will call it out. Well, you know what? I'm a firm believer. A spade is a spade. Period, point blank.
Period, point blank. And we're calling them out tonight. So I'm encouraging everybody that's listening to make sure you know who these candidates are, that you do your homework. Go out and get involved. Go to the debates. Go to the town hall meetings. Show up at your city council meeting. Show up at your county commission meeting. Show up at your school board meeting. You need to be present. You need to be engaged in what's happening and involved in what's happening in your community. Stop sitting around talking about it like we in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and the 50s. We have all kind of technology. We have all type of means now.
I was getting ready to say that.
To be engaged and informed. And a lot of these town hall meetings, if you can't physically get there, they're streaming live just like this broadcast is right here tonight.
I was going to agree to that.
You can log on and be in tune and be in touch with what's happening and what's going on in your community. Again, vote early, do your homework, do your research. The election is May 19th here in the state of Georgia. Early voting starts on April 15th. We encourage you to get out and vote. If you are a pastor, if you are a cosmetologist, a barber, a beautician, or a hairstylist, if you own a nightclub, if you own a liquor store, 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 if you play the lottery, 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 go take your ass and vote.
You didn't miss nobody. You didn't miss nobody.
So I want to ask you a question, and maybe you can help to inform a lot of people with that PSA, because I just want to make sure that something else is clarified about that. Is a lot of these elected officials, I know, especially here in Georgia, I know my congressman. I ain't gonna call his name, but if you know who's the representative at the U.S. Congress in District 13, then I'm gonna tell you what he does is when he's having his town halls. Those town halls, they don't actually come to the more centric, more diverse neighborhoods. They don't do that. They don't stream. They're only in particular areas, and you hear about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Now, there's one of our senators that does that exact same thing. And so I'm just saying, no, what you're saying is right, to actually go to the town halls, but if they're not making it accessible, that's a problem.
Well, I
What
agree,
should they do?
I agree, Dr. King. That is a problem, and I'm going to push back on you and say this: you need to pick up the phone, call their office, call that congressional office here in Atlanta, call that senator's office here in Atlanta, and say, "Listen, what the hell y'all doing? You need to be accessible to all of the people in your district. Make sure that we can access the town hall meeting." They're going to continue to do it if you don't call them out on it and push back on them. You are smart. You are intelligent. Pick up the phone, send an email, call them, text them, show up at their office and say, "Listen, I wanted to be informed about what's happening and the work that you're doing, but I couldn't even access it over here in the area that I live. You need to make this accessible to everybody." If you don't open up your mouth and say something, they will continue to disregard you and discount you. You can so it's one thing to say what we're saying tonight because you didn't call him or her out, and that's your style. That's your style. And that was your argument because I know exactly who the hell you're talking about. So but I want to leave it to you because when I want to know something, I always tell my family, friends, and mentees this. When I want to know something, I don't care if I'm at a fast food joint. I don't need to talk to the shift leader. I need to talk to one or two people, the manager, the general manager, or the owner of the establishment. Because
I agree.
I need to talk to a decision maker who can make a decision. Now, all of these elected officials have constituent services liaisons or legislative aides and all of that. I didn't vote for no damn constituent services liaison. I didn't vote for no legislative aid. And if that works for the other people, let it work for the other people. As for me, I want to talk to my elected official, the name that was on the ballot, Brother Choice. When I went in there and voted for Charlie Brown, God damn it, I need to talk to Charlie Brown. And if I can't talk to Charlie Brown, I'm going to get Charlie Brown black ass out of there.
That's exactly how it works. You know, in a past life, I retired from the post office, 35 years, 4 months.
About it. I'm unapologetic about it.
27 days. And the last 4 years that I worked at the post office, I worked out of DC on the postmaster's organization. And it works exactly how you said it works. If the aide can satisfy you, they will. But if you are persistent on, I didn't vote for you, I know you got a job, but I need to talk to my congressman, my senator, and they note that, and it'll always be just like that. So when you stand up, and oh, by the way, one person in a community represent 10 to 100 voices. And if you are one of those people that they know communicate effectively, you can really turn that ship completely around. And they say it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 miles to turn a ship around, but you can turn it around.
Oh, you can definitely turn it around. And what they don't want, I'm so glad you said that, Pastor Charles. What they don't want is for you to put emphasis on, listen, either you're going to get the senator or get the congressman on the phone and have him or her to call me, or I'm going to make sure I get to the community and use my influence and let them know that they're not accessible. All that stuff they said on the campaign trail, it was a bunch of crap. It was
that's right.
Shit, and I can't reach them. People want leadership that they can touch. People want people who are accessible, tangible, and touchable, who are going to be responsive to the people. Now, I'm not crazy. I do understand the position of a legislative aide and of a constituent services person. I do understand that. However, when you got a constituent who is pleading to talk to their elected official, you need to make sure, Mr. and Mrs. Constituent Services or legislative aides, you get the hell out of the way and you patch them through, as they said in the old days. You go ahead and patch them through. Go ahead and patch them through. Absolutely. Patch me through. Patch me through. Because if you can't patch me through, that elected official is gonna have to patch his ass up, because I'm gonna beat him. He's gonna have so many holes in him, gonna be like Swiss cheese. I'll get out there and I end up running for that same position and make sure I promise the people that I'm gonna be accessible. We need to hold, what we're talking about is accountability.
That's it. That's true.
We
That's
are
exactly
talking
what it is.
about accountability. People must be elected officials, people in power and authority must be held accountable. And now nobody wants to call anybody out. But I'm like Pastor Choice. I call a spade a spade. And I don't care if you black, white, polka dot, or stripe. If you're not serving the people, then you need to get the hell out the way so we can get somebody in the office, in the position, in the seat that's going to serve the people instead of you serving yourself. And we need, I'm telling you, and black people got a bad habit of not calling out black elected officials.
That's true.
Did y'all hear what I just said?
That's real talk.
You know, well,
that's real talk.
I don't want to call them. Why? Why do you want to call them out?
Yeah.
Call them out.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, like I said, that's you know, it's all about timing, because I will tell you this, before I actually release all of those things as I was telling you about, I will definitely send y'all that email, because when it does come out, it's gonna be blistering. Because it's gonna be it will be amazing to know that those folk that are sitting there, especially those that look like you and I, that are a part of this Zionist situation, that are not working for the people.
You know, Dr. King and Brother Choice, again, I really appreciate you all always allow me to be candid and transparent on your show. Dr. King, your podcast is doing some phenomenal work. It's reaching a wide audience. And
it really is.
It really is. You have a lot of
it is. I applaud you, brother. I really do. You are doing a great work. I tell you every day. I really do. We talk every day in the medium or in person at least once or twice a week. But I tell you, I want you to know you are doing a wonderful job, and I'm super proud of you.
And
super proud.
So much, Brother Choice, that he's doing a wonderful job. But what he's doing is encouraging the listeners to go out and do their part, because there's only one Dr. King, and he's need everybody else to get out into their circles of influence and educate people properly about what's going on and what needs to happen. There are so many people who still are uneducated and uninformed about the civic and political process. They simply don't know. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we educate people and properly communicate and inform people through all these mediums that we have, that we can get the word out. Again, with my old school style and traditional way of campaigning from a grassroots perspective, I always start with the churches. I always visit the barbershops, and I always include the nightclubs. You have to be willing to touch everybody in the community. And
I agree.
As we just talked about, we have to also be reminded, even as black folk, to hold black elected officials accountable. And we can't be afraid to hold them accountable. They come to our churches, they come to our communities, they come to our backyards, and they make all these promises. When I need to get a hold of you, I need to get a hold of you, and I need to hold you accountable. Now, back to the bigger subject that we started off talking about is that orange clown in the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That was the original part of this conversation tonight. And we all agreed that we were no longer going to focus on the shoulda, woulda, and the coulda, but we were going to focus on what is needed to make a difference going forward. We have the midterm elections at hand right now, and Brother Choice said, go vote early, and I agree with what he says. We need to deal with the midterm elections right now. Once we get past the midterm, now we have to immediately start preparing for 2028. And I'm going to say this again. Mark my word. That clown going to clown like we've never seen before come the end of his term. He going to show his natural born orange ass at the end of this term. He going to show off to the American people. And the American people better be prepared. Better be prepared, because he going to show his behind. And when I say be prepared, I'm talking about the U.S. senators, the U.S. Congress. They need to be prepared and have parameters in place, because this clown is subject to really do something that's going to be, if we think that January 6th insurrection incident was off the chain. He's getting ready to really blow the minds of all the American people. And we don't need to sit back and just do nothing and twiddle our thumbs as if it's not going to happen. And the last thing I want to say, in this space, don't you allow anybody to deter, to discourage you from getting out to vote. You need to be determined and dedicated and steadfast about making your way to the polls. Don't make an excuse. I don't have time to hear about your pity party. I don't have time to hear about if people can show up, if Miss Lucille showed up on her walker with her cane, if so-and-so showed up in a wheelchair, don't you know your able-bodied ass can show up on your 2 feet? We need you to show up. And yes, I know some of you saying, well, it don't take all that, Nez, but yes, it do, because I got to speak a language that everybody can hear. You see, y'all are part of that gentle parenting era. I didn't come up with no gentle parent. When my mama told me and my 2 brothers to sit our ass down, we sat our ass down and we didn't challenge it, because it wasn't no gentle parenting. You got to speak a language that people can relate to, that they can understand. So you got to talk to them in a way they understand what the hell you're talking about. So you can tiptoe and sound like the Sunday school teacher all you want to. But when you speak a language that people understand, that's when people will move into action. I yield to the gentleman with the beautiful white beard.
So look, so just in closing, I appreciate you guys for being here, but in closing, if you guys could each take some time to give some words of wisdom and encouragement for what people should be doing and thinking about, and how they could connect with you on your social media or your websites or whatever have you, and just going forward, just some things that they should know. Start with you, Gary.
Okay. Once again, we want you to understand that you looking at this, you are the one, because you're here and you made the opportunity to be here. You can make a difference in your group. Don't worry about who's not. Worry about what you can. Don't worry about, well, I only have 2 or 3 of people. That's a great group, because in 2 or 3, again, I'm gonna say it like I said it before, each one can reach one. You can make a difference. It's up to you to do what you can. My name is Gary Choice. I'm the CEO and the founder of Choice Management Services Group, LLC. We are a property management. We do construction, and we are also the CEO and founder of Victory Through Faith Ministry, a nonprofit for homeless veterans. Choice Management Services Group website is cmsgtyler.com. That's cmsgtyler.com. My Victory Through Faith Ministry is vtfm.org. That's vtfm.org. You can get a hold of me in any one of those mediums. I am here. I will talk to you at any time. Just hit me up through one of those ministry mediums, and I'm available. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. King. I'm Oz Nesbitt with Speak Up Communications, and our organization, our firm, is about effective leadership development. We teach leaders how to lead. If you call me, you're gonna be cussing. The best way to reach me is to text me. That's right. The absolute best way to reach me is to text me. What's the number? I'm glad you asked. That number is 770-624-9446. Dr. Choice, I don't see you writing this number down because I'm trying to get to Tyler, Texas.
I need you to come to Tyler, Texas. I'm serious.
770.
I'll give it to you, Gary.
Okay. All right.
770-624-9446. And for those people that's got a whole lot to say to me, let me give you my email address. It is just the way it sounds. Speak up and lead speakupandled@gmail.com. Speakupandlead@gmail.com if you have a whole lot to say. If you want to cut through the chase, 770-624-9446. I am a man of God. I'm old school. I believe in keeping it real, raw, and relevant. I want people, we need people to make their way to the polls here in the state of Georgia. Early voting starts on April the 15th. The actual election day is on May 19th. I'm encouraging you, just like Brother Choice, go vote early, keep it real, and whatever you do, stay black.
Oh, before I close, I have a closing monologue that I like to close the show with. But before I close, I want to first say, for those of you that are watching, and if you have not yet subscribed to any of our channels, especially our YouTube channels, I would appreciate your support if you would please hit the subscriptions button and enable all notifications, and you will be able to get all of the shows live as they take place. And you will also be able to go back and watch all of our previous recordings and get all of the great knowledge that all of our guests have dropped. I want to thank the two of you for being here on this special show, because I know that, the topic is hot and it could go on forever and forever. But I appreciate you guys being here, because this deserved to be talked about, and I wanted to make sure that people can get the knowledge that they need moving forward. So, in closing, I want to say tonight we face the hard truth. The world is changing faster than our leaders can explain it, and the consequences of their decisions fall hardest on the people with the least power. But history teaches us something important. Moments of crisis are also moments of awakening. We cannot afford to be passive observers. We cannot afford to be misinformed, and we cannot afford to let fear replace understanding. The war unfolding overseas is not just a geopolitical event. It is a mirror reflecting who we are as a nation, what we value, and how we treat human life. As we leave tonight, remember this: empires rise and fall, but communities endure. Governments wage wars, but people build peace. And when the world is unstable, the most powerful thing we can say that we can do is stay informed, stay connected, and stay committed to justice. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for thinking critically. And thank you for being a part of a community that refuses to accept easy answers to hard questions. Good night and stay safe. Talk to you guys later, and you all please have a wonderful evening. I thank you all again.
Yes.